Okay, my name is Hasna Nabila Rahma. My registered number are 204200082. And now I would like to tell you about communicative approach.
The communicative approach is a learner-centered approach. This approach gives the learner not only grammatical competence but also a social skill as to what to say, how to say, when to say, and where, in order to satisfy his daily needs as a learner aim. In this approach, apart from fluency, accuracy, and appropriateness are equally important. This innovative use of language needs to produce grammatically well-formed. Communicative approach is based on the idea that the aim of learning second language is to gain communicative competency. In this approach, learners have the knowledge of the rules of use of language to generate language appropriately for certain situations. Example, practicing questions formed by asking learners to find out personal information about their college is an example of the communicative approach, as it involves meaningful communication. In the classroom activities guided by the communicative approach are characterized by trying to produce meaningful and real communications at all levels. As a result, there may be more emphasis on skills than systems. Lessons are more learner-centered and may be use of authentic materials. Characteristic of communicative approach. First, communicative approach emphasizes on communication of language because it plays important part in development of sociality of human character. Second, the message of thought expressed in communications are always in form of functions, so this approach is very useful. Third, if this approach is used in classroom activities, then it will be very useful for learner because in many classes language is taught as to pass examinations only, so this approach enables students to develop communicative ability, which is very important activity of life. The next is through communications approach. The next is through communicative approach. The learner learns target language as he learns mother tongue. It means that the atmosphere of language is created so that students could learn English directly. Next, communicative approach enables students to learn a language naturally because the environment of target language learning is created. Since all the teachings, learning materials are prepared according to child attitude and interests are individual difference so that child could learn the language easily and effectively. This approach is learner-centered. 7. In communicative approach, everywhere in schools, classroom, on stage, and seminars, we can say that the learner are taught as a native person learn his language. The 8. The students should be provided real-life situations. Creativeness of role-play simulations projects should be produced in students so that they could connect this all with real situations. In communicative approach, the emphasis on active mode of learning is given. Thus, it makes students active in their activities including pair work and group work. 10. The learners have to develop skill of language. Speaking and listening aspects of language are too important for oral communication, so oral expressions is more emphasis. The oral communications and written communications are distinctively taught in this approach. In this approach, the visual aids are permitted. These aids help to provoke practical communications. They help to motivate and focus pupils' attention. The language is never static, it is dynamic. This approach helps the learner to use language naturally and according to accept from and usage. The last, the active use of lexical items help learners to develop vocabulary. There should not be passive use of lexical items. They need active command of using words in meaningful message. So in this approach, the lexical items are tough in context. Okay, maybe enough here. I'm sorry if you found some messages from me, and last I say you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.